hell is in the waiting. It's like we know that something is there. We know that it is growing. We know that I have to have a surgery, but what we didn't know is what would life look like post-op. In 2008, I was in college working full-time and noticed that I started losing feeling in my legs. And after going to a few specialists and trying to figure this out, it turned out I had a massive tumor inside of my spinal cord. And then I was later diagnosed with NF2, or neurofibromatosis 2. And that set me on a trajectory in my life that I never would have imagined. I went through a few years, 7 actually, where I didn't go to the doctor and just kind of hiding from my diagnosis and just believing that because I wasn't experiencing any new symptoms that I was fine. Ended up going to see this doctor and getting scans done, full body scans, and just to kind of get a baseline. And turns out I had a tumor inside of my spinal cord again, this time at C1 and C2 in my neck. It controls your entire body. And so we went through the process of, getting that diagnosis and realizing that my life was about to change with my kids, and my wife could possibly be affected forever.
At the beginning of the year, Luke went in and did a scan. They did find a tumor in the base of his neck. Wholeheartedly, I believed that this tumor had been there for a long period of time, but when we went in, the surgeon informed us that the tumor had grown, and not only that, but he highly recommended that we do surgery as soon as possible. So just kind of a lot of information to take in. Kind of felt like our world had just been turned upside down. You go in believing one thing and you get told another. Just a lot of emotions to process.
If we did not operate, that things would just continue to get worse. So we decided in that moment that surgery needed to happen, and it needed to happen quickly. And it was in this time, in this waiting, that we really experienced struggle. We experienced heartache. We experienced questioning. We spiraled a little bit. We reached out for help with pastors and friends, and ultimately it came down to, are we going to believe what we've been taught? Are we going to believe in our faith in Christ that He is a healer? Or are we going to abandon that belief and live in doubt and live in fear?
4:30 in the morning. We're a little sleep deprived, but we're feeling confident this morning. I'm feeling confident, ready to go for a long nap. But we're here. We're ready. You ready? Let's go.
Got there day of surgery and went back and felt that sense of peace, and woke up from a 9-hour surgery. And as I woke up, I realized that I couldn't feel my left side of my body. It felt like pins and needles and heavy. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, it happened. My wife comes into the room. My first words are, I can't move my left side of my body. And the miraculous thing that I found out, my wife sent out this chain text that said that he can't move the left side of his body. And she's a worship leader, and they were in the middle of rehearsal, and she stopped the rehearsal and she said, we have to pray. And from the time that I woke up, I remember waking up to the time that they began to pray was about 26 minutes. And in that 26 minutes, all of a sudden, I'm able to move a little bit of my hand, and I'm able to wiggle my toes. And it was like all of a sudden, there was an instantaneous healing that began to take place in my body. The doctors said that they lost signal to the left side of my body during surgery, and they weren't sure if I'd ever be able to move again. Because of prayer, because of people gathering together and believing in God, believing in His power, that all of a sudden just movement began to come back.
Let me see you move your left arm.
The next day after surgery, I'm still in the ICU. More feeling is coming back, more sensation is coming back, and I'm able to stand for the first time. Now, when I was told about this surgery, I was told that I should expect at a minimum to be in the hospital for 3 weeks. 1 week in intensive care, just recovering from the surgery, and then 2 weeks in inpatient physical therapy. And the fact that I was able to stand up assisted on the second day is a miracle. By day 3, I was sitting in a chair, feeding myself with my own hands. Day 4, I was able to walk with a walker around the hospital. And each and every day, I was getting stronger. The feeling in my left leg came back 100%. The feeling in my left arm is still not 100%. My dexterity is still not all there. I'm able to hug my kids, hug my wife, enjoy life. The miraculous part of this is day 5 days post-op, I was told by the doctors that there's no reason that I should be in the hospital anymore because I had gotten so much better. I had healed so much quicker than they could have ever experienced, that I walked out of the hospital and then I walked into my home unassisted 5 days after a major spinal cord surgery.
We just found out we are going home.
Only 5 days.
4 days ago, I couldn't feel the left side of my body. And in that, all I can think of is that I'm not done yet, and that there's more to it, and that there's more to my story that God has, that He's not done with me, and that I can continue to live life for Him. The fact of the matter is that my diagnosis of NF2 doesn't really have an end. There are tumors in my body right now that I know of, probably tumors that I don't know about. There will be more surgeries, there will be more that I have to face. And I think for me, it's in these moments knowing what God got me through, the suffering that I went through, but the fact that He was with me in the suffering, that He was with me in the valley, gives me the faith and the courage to know that if He was with me then, He'll be with me again in the future. And I know that as I go through this and as I continue to face the trials that I have to face with this diagnosis, that He's not done with me yet.